Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Hello. We are going to get started again. We had a little bit of technical issues, but that's okay. We're back. We're back at it. So we're going to start from the top of a new question that we have here on this same video. And I think I might just want to go through this one question, and then we might cut the video there just for the sake of this stream being weird, and hopefully that we don't get shut down again. So we're gonna do that and then see if that's good enough to stick around. If not, we might have to switch some things up. The main thing is I think that the video was too big on the screen. I think that's why it got shut down. So we're gonna see if this little tiny screen changes things. Okay.
I feel that you need to start.
Well, this sore, huh?
You need to.
Wait, what is this? The question was, you can be gay and Christian. And then just so you guys can have an idea of what's going on the screen, if you're not able to join on YouTube, everyone has gone up except for two of the Christians. The Christian pastor and the gay Christian both went forward.
I feel that you need to start.
Well, this whore, huh? Obviously, and stuff. I'm a big old fruitcake. I bartend in nightlife. I go dance. I do adult content. I love it. I love having sex with men, which almost sounds bad now that I'm saying it out loud.
It's just
amazing.
But
it's so neutral. It's so neutral. It means nothing. Yes, it is on YouTube. It should be up. Hopefully it should be up over on YouTube. Check the Discord server also in the description and in the bio if you're over there. I love that for him. I love that he can be a Christian and do whatever he wants and have a full life. Like, that makes me really happy. I'm happy that he's happy. I'm sure that other people would be like, you're the worst and you're disgusting because you're having sex with men. Oh God. Oh no. How dare you? But he just is happy and he loves God and he loves men. Like, I don't think that both of those things have to be mutually exclusive. These things can definitely work together and it can be neutral.
I still love the Bible. I treat people with respect. I go to confession. I do all these things. I love my LGBTQIA community, and I'm a gay man. I'm big old fruit, and I love it. So,
And
I was going to say, one of the reasons I became an ex-Christian was because I met gay people. Because I grew up in a Christian, small, conservative town, and my parents, pushed it into me. They're like, what are the two things we vote on as Christians? And I'd have to say abortion and gay marriage,
wow.
brainwash.
Whoa.
So I met gay people and I was like, why do my parents say you're bad? And then it's just crazy. Just living life is how I became an ex-Christian and just.
I love that so much. Oh my God. The ability to just recognize that being a full person and getting out of that kind of Christian bubble and recognizing that people are just people was enough for her to be like, this is kind of silly. This is kind of silly stuff that I'm doing to these people that are, completely natural. They're doing natural stuff. You know what I mean? She, I feel like a lot of a lot of us can resonate with that type of a family dynamic. I remember one time I was excited that a black guy was up for the presidency. And I remember asking other people in my family and church community and stuff, what do you think about this guy? And they're like, he accepts abortion, so we can't vote for him. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you suck. I was like, okay, I guess that's a bad thing then.
I hate the fact that, my mom says, you can be gay, you just can't act on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh
so
my
you want
God.
someone to go their whole life without loving someone, and people kill themselves because of that.
For me, I just think it's kind of pervy that there is this thought that he is so involved in what you do in bed I
Right.
just think,
Christians are involved in people's
Right.
beds.
Well, the reason I'm sitting here, I think I also probably, before the other two join us, I think I'm probably in line with them too. I'm just answering the prompt in that, can a gay person believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for his sins and that he is risen again, that Jesus is God? Yes,
Amen.
definitely, and can go to heaven. And I'm a Christian, and I think most of us don't care about what people do in their bedrooms, but we do care about other people saying, no, your God says this is okay, when the Bible strictly says it's homosexuality is sin.
How does that make you feel when he says that?
When they
I'm very interested to hear kind of this interaction that's about to happen. And I do think that it's a little bit, I don't know what that word is exactly, but he's being a little bit avoidant and saying that, you know, Christians don't care what other people do in bed is silly. You know what I mean? We know the history with the Catholic Church and their lies to people about protection. We know that that's a thing. We know that individuals are less than honest on what's that called? Abstinence only sex education. Maybe it's his community. Maybe his community, no one in his community cares, and they don't, and that's what that is, perhaps.
They say it again, interpreting, right? So they have it interpreted saying that they meant mainly when it was older men having sex with young men, because there wasn't a word to translate for just something else like men and men.
arsenic
But
tie.
yeah, so I don't believe he necessarily meant being in love with a man or a woman with a woman. And so I believe is for men with younger men who couldn't determine, didn't have
Now,
a
I've heard
choice.
that before, and I speak Greek and I read and write Greek. And
He said, bitch, I am the definition of Greek.
if you look at the passage in Romans chapter 1, it's not about the word. It actually describes men having sexual acts with other men.
I'm gonna burn in the fiery pits.
No, but God forgives.
Yeah, he does. He
I
does.
believe,
just
that
playing.
I believe you have a real faith in Jesus,
Oh,
so you are
100%.
forgiven of your sins.
I love Jesus Christ, and I know that the Bible's not going to change for me too. Like,
I wonder what that pastor has seen in this gay man who literally says that he loves having sex with men and does adult and makes porn. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble on the whatever for saying this stuff, but like, I'm really wondering what the other guy is seeing in him that's saying that you're good, like you're gonna get to heaven, when he's clearly actively engaging in sin and doesn't care enough to stop. Like from that other Christian, it's very interesting, and in my opinion, it's a little bit confusing when you say stuff like that. It's inconsistent with that particular Christian perspective.
I know that if this is truly a sin, then I have to answer to that when I go. It's not, there's nothing I can do. Also, there's nothing I want to do though. I love who I love. And I truly believe Jesus Christ, the embodiment of love, is like, I get it. I feel like he's always kind of like letting me know, like, I'm glad you're on the right path.
I agree with you. I think that's, if you're going to practice something, at least practice a good part of it.
I love to hear this.
I believe the Bible. I believe.
We just know that it's going to get bad. So Slick says, isn't knowingly sinning because the concept that God will forgive you, isn't that like a super sin? I would think so. So that's why I'm wondering why that pastor is like, you're good. Like, it's good that you are having gay sex and then asking for forgiveness and then doing it again. That makes no sense to me from the Christian perspective. One thing that I do appreciate about the girl in the yellow who is intense, she's direct and she's very honest. I appreciate Christians who are like that, because you say that stuff and I'm like, I literally want nothing to do with you, but thank you for saying that so I can tell. Fuck. Hold on.
This discussion can feel like a lot. Thankfully, our partner for this video, the Skylight app.
Give me a second, guys. Slow internet data today for some reason. Hold on. Okay, someone else said, I guess.
This discussion can feel like.
Okay, said, if I had to guess, I would say that the pastor is taking, a buy over time approach, hoping the guy would see the nature of his sin, or like biding his time approach, hoping that the guy will see the nature of his sin. Maybe that's what he's doing, but it seems interesting. So I'm gonna move it to when we see that woman. Okay, when she enters in the conversation, that's where we were at. Okay.
Inherit the kingdom of God or take or have any part of it. And it lists a lot of different sins. And I think that there's a difference between people falling short. We all do. We all make mistakes. We all struggle. We're all figuring out our identity, all of that.
Yeah.
But for me, the difference is if you are purposely day in and day out saying, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to live my life, and it goes completely against the word of God, that's when I feel you have separated yourself from the Lord, and you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Do you have gay friends?
I do not have gay friends.
Shocking. And then she goes on to say, I barely have friends, which is, I feel you. But like the idea that like I said, she's more honest than the other pastor, at least directly honest. She said, you're not going to do this. No, manifest. I was the same person. I was talking about how humans are apes the other day. Because we're great apes, the greatest of all apes. Not really. Other apes are really cool. Anyway, but humans are apes. I'll be making more videos about that on YouTube too in the future.
I barely have friends, period. But
Wow, I can see that. I actually think that you would be around a lot of people because you're so bubblegummy and warm.
No,
Can
there
I be
was
your friend?
I know.
We'll be your gay friends. Yeah.
no, there was a
We'll
time
be
that
your
the
gay
reason why that happened, I'm not trying to being on Maury or something, but I've had friends, but what I noticed is I was attracted to a lot of toxic friendships that were very one-sided. So what I had to do is like get rid of that, and God actually called me to be closer to him. I entered into ministry. I do YouTube stuff, but anyways, so now is the time. I have a church community. I have friends, but for me, a friend is someone who also draws me closer to Christ.
Do you think that I truly will go to hell even though I'm Catholic and I practice just because I love a man? Because I'll be miserable. Like I've tried being alone and it's hard. You know, I want someone that's there that I want to love, and I want to take care of them, and I want to provide for them and do all that. And all I want to do is have someone like everyone else. And I don't think that Jesus Christ wants me not to. But
I don't think loving anybody is wrong, but we're talking love and sexuality are two different categories. And I know that the Lord believes in Christian marriage, man and woman who are monogamous and who are not going to be cheating on each other, fornicating, all that stuff. So with you, honestly, I'm just going to go a little off script. I know you're searching. I know you are. And I know you mean it. And
okay, this part is going to get, I'm going to get mad because she gets him. Okay, just watch.
I know that there's things that you feel like you can't change.
Yeah.
I know that you have a genuine, sorry.
I know what you're saying because I can see in you remind me of.
I know that so she's talking about this and she's like almost like in tears, right? Seemingly like communicating to him, you are gonna burn in hell for eternity because you love a man. And then I think that I'm not sure what her tears are about exactly. Her tears could be about so many different things. Like she could be sad because of the fact that this feels bad, that she knows that this man would be suffering, would suffer. And she's saying, I would prefer that you suffer because God would want that. Right? But you still desire his suffering, ma'am. You still think that his suffering is more beneficial because it'll get him closer to God, ma'am. I have not a ton of sympathy for your tears in this moment. You know what I mean? So no, there is no, it was some other stuff.
my grandma, and I say this in this way because she's hyper Christian, and she feels like if she starts approving or liking something like this, it's tough because you're like, if I love someone who does this, it goes against my faith.
I still
And so, but all
love
you
people.
want to do though, you're like,
Yeah.
this person's cool. I get along with them. We're going to the same place, right?
Do you feel that you're searching?
I don't think that I'm searching.
What would you just say to him when he says, I'm not searching, I feel that I found?
Well, the thing I was going to go forward and say is I do believe that you want to please the Lord, and I know that you're.
Thank you.
So is that enough?
I know that you feel like you can't change. And there's a lot of people like that. Heavy breaths, heavy sighs. Oh my gosh, she said that. I know that you feel like you can't
Why?
change.
Can we get to the root of why homosexuality is
Good
wrong?
question.
So
Because
can I
it's in the
actually-
Bible.
Please do.
And it
Why
goes
is it
against
wrong?
God's
Tell
design
us.
for family.
So here's the thing, right, guys.
Thank you, brother.
I think we're focusing too much on this thing that's like, so for me, sin is more of like a virus, right? There's symptoms of this virus.
See the
right?
gay
There's-
virus, guys.
Right. So no, it's not a gay virus. What I'm
Wait,
saying is I'm trying to
You
make
said sin is a
distinction between
virus. Okay.
sin and what we think is actual sin, right? So if it enters our body and we have a fever, let's say runny nose, fever, sore throat, if I take Tylenol and I take aspirin, my fever will suppress, right? But if I don't attack the virus at its core, then it'll keep still popping up. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? With the
Well,
with
how
the
does
symptoms?
this analogy relate to
So I'm
being
getting
gay?
there.
What's wrong?
He's getting to
with
the
being
point.
gay?
So I'm getting to the point. True sin, like I said, it's a virus. It stems from unbelief. It stems from trusting and believing in myself, right? So I knew, for
Interesting.
example, that you can't just kill people. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a gang member. My dad beat me. He was an alcoholic. My mom. All of that was an excuse, right? I chose,
You
like
chose.
she was saying, right?
You chose.
So I chose. I'm going to follow my thoughts and believe in myself. Do you guys understand? And from that, I became a gang member. When I lived my own way and I trusted my own self, essentially being my own God.
When you trusted yourself.
Yes.
Another
right.
decision.
The judge.
I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Everything that you're bringing up to the table are decisions. When did you choose to be gay?
Right. No, I did not. There was no choice for me. You can't help who you fall in love.
That was beautiful. I really do appreciate that guy and the way that he was so open and honest just then. And he stuck up for the other guy. This is one of them is the non-Christian who's standing up for the gay Christian Catholic man. The other Christian is saying like, yeah, I chose to be a gang member. I chose to hurt other people. Jake, who's the gay Christian in the situation, just as gay. Someone was asking me on a live stream the other day on TikTok. They were like, what made you gay? And I was like, I just, this is just, I don't know. I just am. Like I've noticed attraction to people of the same sex when I was relatively young. I'm pretty sure, I think I said 5 the other day. It's probably a little bit older, like maybe 3rd grade. I don't know how old you are in like 3rd grade, something maybe around then. I didn't do that on purpose. Your body like lights up. You see somebody really pretty and your body lights up. You see somebody handsome, you feel tingles. Like you don't pick that. That's the thing. Right, yeah. Anima says like what makes you like vanilla ice cream? Nobody picks stuff like that. We just are who we are. Exactly, Zazu. We're just born. We're born this way. And I make jokes about it all the time. Like, you know, I just am who I am. I didn't pick this. I didn't even necessarily want it. It just happened. Now I'm fine with it, but you know, it just is the way it is.
With, right? And like, say if you are you biracial, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, so ditto and stuff. And you know, like at some point, maybe our parents and stuff, right? People were like, "How dare you be with this?" You know, our grandparents. You know what I mean? And stuff. And it's like you can't help who you love, and you're not supposed to. But people told them they were supposed to. So I can't help who I fall in love with. And I'm not supposed to, because Jesus Christ, he did all these things with people that were very not. They're all supposed to go to
Jesus
hell.
didn't follow the Bible.
So, not very much. He was
Your own guy
extremely.
did not follow his
He
own
was
Bible.
extremely kind and loving to everybody, and said, no matter what and stuff, just trust in my heart.
Do you understand that he also is saving people, healing them, and also saying, go and sin no more? He wasn't saying, let's all party
Do
and let's all.
whatever you want.
People like to
But
say
my
he's just
love
like up in
and
a
loving
club.
someone though isn't partying and having a good time, being like, who's at the bar. That's
Literally
a bar.
having like companionship and love.
And he's not
and
saying,
love.
even the woman who was caught in adultery, he wasn't saying, don't throw a stone at her. You're okay. Keep doing that. He was like, stop that. Don't do that anymore.
No,
and
I get that he was saying, don't be a harlot or don't.
Once again, the constant comparison with like being gay and things like having affairs. There's a massive issue if you can't see a difference between two people who are in a compassionate, loving relationship with each other and a person who steps out of a relationship to cheat on their partner. If you can't tell a difference between those two things, I have a lot of questions about you generally and your ability to kind of like tell what's right and wrong. Like that's my opinion.
Be extra about it, right? And stuff. But me, there is nothing. He made me this way. There
I
is
disagree.
nothing I can do.
How many testimonies have you seen?
But I was born gay.
In the LGBT, we can agree to disagree.
But
how many
you can't disagree
testimonies?
though about my life though.
We can
Yeah,
argue.
but
We can argue the
there's
same
no
thing about.
I could give my testimony, you know. I was like, you know, I knew that I had gay feelings in high school, but then when I went to college, I was not just in college, I went to the Word of Life Bible Institute, you know, and like studied scriptures intensely and, you know, felt very liberated from my same-sex attractions during that time, you know, wasn't experiencing that at the time. So maybe I was like, okay, I'm good then. We're good. I'm cured. Hallelujah. Amen. You know what I mean? I'm cured. Yeah, but when I went home after college and I had like time to breathe and think, the feelings were still there. So, you know, it's not real. It's not real. That's fascinating. Blue saying this new Jesus is harsh and unloving. I don't understand how he ended up here. The misinterpretation of the principles that were originally taught. Yeah, the Jesus of the Bible was nice. You know, I think that what they're turning Jesus into, it sucks. I still am not a fan. I'm not going to be, you know, not going to become a Christian or something like that. But still, you know. All right.
Can I finish my sentence though?
But I hypothetically am not that.
What do
I
you
was
say,
born this way.
What do you say about all of the people who have come out of the LGBT lifestyle and have said this is where it started? I can pinpoint something happened. I can pinpoint a trauma. I can pinpoint they weren't just.
That's their
I think they're
story,
lying
though.
to themselves.
No.
Let's
Let's accept it as true. Let's just give that as true.
Yeah, right.
What makes the other thing false?
Interesting.
Right, 100%. Like I don't understand. Like that's
you
their
can go
story.
through trauma.
So this guy, his position is interesting. He's basically saying, okay, like let's just pretend that this is true, that these people really did just magically become ex-gay. The other person is essentially saying, which I think is true, that there's probably a lot, someone in the blue said in the comments that there's probably a lot of self-hatred with the testimonies. And the other girl on the panel says that like she thinks that they're lying to themselves. And I would agree, because that's what I was doing when I thought that I was good. I've made decisions. You know what I just realized, guys? I did make decisions about my sexuality, but it was when I decided that I was only going to go after people of the opposite sex, because then that would be less traumatizing for me, because then I could avoid like losing my family and having a whole bunch of drama. Like I could maybe just, you know, I could just kind of slide under the radar and everything would be fine. But that was me making a decision about my sexuality and lying to myself about what I really, really wanted in that time.
Oh, and whoa, yeah, that made you whoever you are.
Then
That's
maybe
not
you
my
should.
story.
Well, I don't think
That's not my story, and I'm still who I'm still who
Well,
I
I'm glad
am.
your life was really great.
Well, I don't think we could just focus just on homosexuality for 2 hours.
Well, that was the prompt.
But I don't know Jake. I don't know his experience, and I can't judge his heart. But if Jake really believes Jesus Christ is his Lord and Savior, dying on the cross for his sins,
yes,
I think God will work in his heart. I mean, there are sins in my life that I haven't repented
You
of.
were right. You were right. Who said it? Who said it? Who called it? Daddy Hacks. You fucking called it. You called it. I was like, this pastor's being suspiciously nice to this guy. Suspiciously nice to him. And I'm not sure why. Because what he truly believes is that God will work in his heart to make him aware that his gayness is so evil, so bad, and so disgusting. He's about to say right now, I have sins. There you go.
I'm not perfect either. I think in heaven, no one is gay. Yes.
There we go. There we go. Heaven is not going to be heaven if there's a bunch of if there's a bunch of gays all up in there. That's crazy. Yeah. Oh, Great Carrie on TikTok says, burying yourself to satisfy others is doing nothing but hurting yourself. Wonderful. Exactly. There's no point in it. There's no point. I know what it feels like. You know what I mean? To bury myself for such a long time. It's miserable. It's gross. That's the thing. Anima, isn't he trying to get people to come to the fold like this? Like, if I was a gay person watching this, I'm not going to be like, I feel so loved. Like, I'm not going to do that. Okay, the gentleman who is gay. Oh my God, you missed the beginning part because we had another live stream that got a little bit messed up, but he basically stated like, I believe that my love for men is sinful. He said that earlier. But he said the gentleman who is gay asking the woman about heaven and hell has to do self-work. He shows that he is in a lot of pain with his identity. He always addressed himself in a negative way. He does need some self-love. Great point. Great point. He is definitely seeing himself in a pretty negative way, and sees that, oh yeah, I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be in a situation like that. Not exactly just because I don't know what it's like to be a Catholic. All I know is what it's like to be a Protestant, and I don't know what it's like to go to confession. Like, you know what I mean? So we definitely have different experiences, but I know what it's like to be in the church and to be gay and to know the other verses and stuff like that, but to still feel bad about it. Like, I could confidently say, like, no, I'm confident that the Bible, is not against gay marriage, that it is just, it's against like sexual, like really bad sexual stuff, like going from a man to a boy, like that's evil. But I still felt uncomfortable. And I couldn't personally remain a Christian. There's a lot of reasons why. That was definitely one of them. Reconciling my sexuality with the messages within Christianity. A lot of them just were not healthy concepts. And it's the difference between not that I was like, I want to sin, so I can't be a Christian and I want to sin comfortably. That's not what it was about. For me, it was about, I have issues with the Bible stating that a person who's gay, which we know scientifically is not some type of sick mental illness. The fact that the Bible has a problem with someone who is neutral, like morally neutral, that was where I had issues. People will say, well, Mav, well, that's your problem. You're not looking to the Bible for morality. You're looking to the worldly science or whatever for morality. Oops, I guess. I don't really know what to do. I'm going to use my intellect, the evidence around me, and my emotions to help me make decisions about morality. The Bible says that most people will go to hell, so there's not even an argument to be made. I know. Yeah, I don't even know why people are going to, I do know why people want to try, because if you hear about hell, that sounds awful. And yeah, the pseudo love that says, I love you, just not your sin. And when your sin, especially when your sin is like you loving your partner, yucky. It makes me feel real yucky.
Gay people can become Christians and go to heaven, but in heaven,
what? I don't think God makes mistakes, though.
I'm so.
Let's hold on.
I think in heaven,
that's good.
My life that I haven't repented of. I'm not perfect either. I think in heaven, no one is gay. Yes, gay people can become Christians and go to heaven, but in heaven,
what? I don't think God makes mistakes, though.
I'm so sick of Christians comparing, like they say all sin is equal. They don't believe that.
No,
Like,
It's a lifestyle. It's a day-to-day thing. If I'm always lying, I'm always cheating. I have no.
Those things are
Those are
bad. Why
decisions.
is being gay?
Listen, here, guys, this is what I think. This is what I'm hearing here. If you chose to lie every single day, you clearly are a bad person, right? And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this. I'm saying that like this, their morality seems more like this. Like it is evil, clearly, if you're making the decision to sin every day. If you lie, like I don't know if I care that much. Like if you lied about chocolate, like eating a chocolate bar, and I don't like that doesn't matter. But if a Christian's like lying at all, if you lie at all every day, you're completely immoral, deserving of hell. So clearly, if you have a partner that you kiss every day, and they're a same-sex partner, well, you're fucking just sinning every day, every day. Waking up, oh, I love you, honey, sin. Going to bed with your partner, laying in bed together, sin. Having dinner with your gay partner, sinning. Do you see the difference? And also, like, if they're seeing all of those little decisions, your day is just fucking a field day of sin then. It's a field day of sin. Wake up, have a little gay fun with your partner. Like, you know what I mean? If that, I mean, I wonder if there's any of that like being gay is a worse sin because of how much it takes up of your life. In the terms of like, when you have a partner, your partner's a big deal. My wife is a big deal to me. You know? Yeah. Let me talk a little bit about what this actually looks like within Christian, let's talk for a second about the practical application of this type of stuff on real families. The practical application is that a gay family member says, hey, I have this partner that I love so much and we have a family together, blah, blah, blah. And the rest of the family has a get together and says, you're invited, but your partner's not invited. We understand in this world that, especially in our culture, marriage means a lot. For in our society, for women, their whole placeholder name thing changes in the front from Miss to Mrs. Like that can be a big deal for a lot of people. But apparently, if you're getting married in a gay way, then that doesn't matter at all. I've had family members tell me directly that this is really bad. And I laugh because of how painful it is. Like seriously. But I've had family members literally tell me that like your marriage literally means nothing. It might mean something to the law, but it's not a real marriage. And I'm wondering, like, how disconnected from any true empathy you would have to be to say something like that to another person. Like, you would have to be so disconnected from the real life of other people is disturbing to me. But this is the reality. This is apparently the loving families that Christians want to create. See, like the family system is all well and good until someone's gay in it, and then we can destroy them and keep them disconnected from our family because you're bad. And this clearly isn't what happens to every Christian family. Like for example, the Christians who are on this panel, definitely the gay one, like probably would go to his friend's gay wedding or something like that. But the other ones probably wouldn't want to support that. I talk with other people who say like, oh, I'm getting married. Like, for example, if a woman is saying to their family members, oh, I'm getting married to another woman. And the first thing they do is like retch in disgust. I want you to think about, and I'm talking as if there's some Christian watching this, but I want you to think about how that would feel to experience as a gay person. That would be miserable. And I remember I did, yeah, a lot of the stuff is very, very close to home in terms of how Christians can respect their own marriages and relationships and understand that that's so important to them. And like, if a married couple were to be, you know, together, whatever, and one party was to be invited to something and the other one was banned from coming to this event, they would be like, they would fucking throw a fit. Why the fuck aren't you letting my wife come to this event? Why don't you accept my husband or whatever? They would throw a fit because we understand how important marriage is in our culture. But when it comes to gay people getting married, that's barely even real. I can barely even give that the time of day. You know, okay.
Gay, bad.
And again, those are decisions
pivoting to murder,
I answered it like 3
violence.
times.
I studied theology for many,
Is it
many
for
years.
you?
Why
Is it
is that
purely
bad?
just because it's in the Bible? Like
Exactly.
when you see me, like if you saw me kiss a guy or like
There
hold
is no
hands, you don't
natural
come off
reason.
this way as someone who seems like that's off-putting to you.
No, it's not
I
because
could
of
be
that.
wrong.
It's because, well, theologically, I don't know why the Bible is against it. I don't know why God says these things.
Then ask those questions.
But
They're
the
important.
Bible is clear in saying this is God's standard.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the whole mind of God.
Well, what don't
I
you understand about there's a design for family?
You could say it's about the natural order of creation, that, you know, of procreation and how God made things the way
Is that
they are.
the end all
in the
and be all
beginning.
to life?
Now, that's my interpretation.
Yeah, like, do you only
I
have
can't
sex
say
to
100%
procreate?
that that's
No.
what I want.
It's fine.
Not even in nature. That doesn't even happen in nature.
I can't think for God, but I do know.
So for example, this is like obviously super fallacious. The idea that the natural design and this obviously is another reason why I talk about evolution so much, is because saying that it's unnatural for humans to be gay is so silly, because we see it very clearly in other primate species. We understand there are plenty of hypotheses for the utility of gay relationships from an evolutionary standpoint. We know that those things are true. And that's why, for me, it's important to rely on the idea that, especially information about the natural world, it's very important to go off of things like evidence and reason and not just a book that someone says, because divine command, these ideas that God just says it, and so this is something that I should take seriously, clearly can be used for grave evil from where I'm sitting. F me.
Then ask those questions.
But
They're
the
important.
Bible is clear in saying this is God's standard.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the whole mind of God.
Well, what don't
I
you understand about there's a
And the gang member's like, yeah, or the ex-gang member, it's just what am I gonna do? Fuck that.
design for family?
You could say it's about the natural order of creation, that, you know, of procreation and how God made things the way
Is that
they
the
are.
end all
in the
and be all
beginning.
to life?
Now, that's my interpretation.
Yeah, like, do you only
I
have
can't
sex
say
to
100%
procreate?
that
No.
that's what I want.
It's fine.
Not even in nature. That doesn't even happen in nature.
I can't think for God, but I do know what the Bible is clear in its teachings.
The other thing too that he mentions as well is, and this is a dig against the Catholic Church specifically, and I was never a Catholic, but sex is meant to just be fun also, like, and just enjoyable. It doesn't have to be procreative. So like, you know, you can like have sex and masturbate without thinking that, you know, you're gonna get smote or something like that. They're very natural, very healthy things to engage in. And guys, this is stuff that I had to seriously learn and do a lot of work on to be comfortable with my own body, because it was a source of so much pain, and it was this thing that like had these feelings that if I listened to those feelings, I would literally burn in hell. So I like was very, very not trusting of myself and my body, right? And was not really able to have a relationship with my body in like a sexual way or anything like that. But that's definitely changed. You have to put real effort into this stuff.
But he gives us logic and reason. We should question.
Wouldn't you be humble
Yeah,
enough
Kelly,
to say,
what's on your mind?
No, I mean, I do really feel for you because I do understand.
I don't know why this happened.
This discussion can feel
That is ridiculous that happened. Okay, give it a second.
like a lot. Thankfully, our partner for this video, the Skylight app, has simple, no-fuss spiritual exercises that can work for anybody, religious or not. Here.
Come on, dude. Okay. I'm sorry that this is being so annoying today. Hopefully it'll stop. But Slick makes a good point, saying that sex is also used as
Discussion can
a stress
feel
reduction,
like
can be a stress reducing, and can also be like a bonding thing. It's not about procreation. You know what I mean? There's so many other valuable things that can come out of sexual relationships, alone and with a partner. Okay, so I'm excited to hear.
It sounds condescending to say, but I understand you believe that the Bible says being gay is wrong. Like, I get, like, and that is how I always felt growing up. And what I watched is, as like clearly gay people of my generation, I watched them kill themselves. I've watched them try to be different. I watched them live lives of just complete desperation. I watched them get married to women and have sex on the side. Like, I watched them, I watched these beautiful people, these beautiful, like, loving people made of love and who had so much to give the world, try to subvert an important part of themselves to fit into this idea, like this 1 or 2 lines from the Bible.
And as I said, when you mentioned testimony, and I said that was anecdotal, I will also come back and say that's also anecdotal. But we can go then back to the legislation. If you have a fundamentalist person that believes that that's wrong, and they manage to get into the legislature, they will pass a bill against it. So we're not playing in a playing field for equality for all. So the fact that you have, even if you don't understand where it comes from, the fact that you have that belief and you will force yourself into government to then decide for other people.
Right, I don't understand those things.
It's a big no, you know, because
I truly do feel God enjoys love.
Talking about how much pain has come out of just being hateful, you know what I mean? Those things are complete, like, just not, I think, inhumane, generally. But basically, there are much kinder ways to go about this. Going into government and trying to legislate Christian ideals is not it. Is not the way to go at all.
I prayed and prayed and prayed to find love and stuff, and I was like, I'm so lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm getting to that place where I might have that with someone, and I feel so happy. And this guy he's Catholic, he goes to church, and he goes to confession, and he loves these things, and it makes me feel so good.
Do you feel like part of that relationship was filling a hole and a void that maybe Jesus could have filled?
No.
Maybe if you focus on that first.
No,
that's just a question.
because I've been focusing on it I've been single for about like 7 years.
And your Jesus hole is filled already with Jesus itself, right?
Seriously.
Jesus is inside the hole.
Yo, this is amazing stuff. So he's this whole idea of you have a God-shaped hole. You have this God-shaped hole that needs to be filled by God, right? And he made a good point. The hole was filled by God. He was passionately pursuing God, but the hole of human love was empty. Jesus is not a human to love you in an intimate sexual way. Me as a person, I kept this, my friend would like helped me because I complained a lot about not being satisfied. And I knew that I would not be satisfied with like relationships and stuff like that because of what I knew about who I was and the way that what God said that he needed from me. What God said that he needed from me. But there was nothing that he could have done to fill that, you know, the actual need that I had for human connection. It was a little thing that just said, I'm satisfied in you. And I kept it around because I wanted so badly for God to be like, and I know this is going to sound really weird, but I knew that I was not going to be sexually fulfilled. And I was like, how am I going to get God to fulfill me sexually? I didn't understand it, but I was like, I'm going to fucking try. What else am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know what else to do here. Like, I guess he's supposed to just like, I don't know what that even, I'm not, yeah. And this stuff doesn't even really make sense, but I tried to make it make sense to myself because I didn't know what to do. I loved God so much, and I wanted to be okay in his eyes, but I wasn't and that's just, yeah. Let's wrap this up.
Excuse me, Lord. Oh my God.
That was it. That was a good one. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, good. That's paused. And let's go back. Let's go back up here. All right. So we're just gonna stop that there. I just wanted to finish up that one section, and hopefully we'll be able to come back and do some more stuff later. But if you're here, make sure that you check the description. Oopsie. It might not be in this description because I made a new live. So either check this description after I've uploaded this video, or check the description of the last video that I just did to find the link to the Discord server, or you can reach out to me directly with whatever way on my other social medias, and I can get you the link so that you can kind of join and we can continue these conversations when I'm not doing live streams specifically and stuff like that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Okay, good, it is there. So yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out here a little bit and really challenging some of these ideas with me and thinking about them a little bit more. One of the things that I noted was like, I left Christianity for two major reasons. There's a lot of complicated stuff, but it was empathy and evidence. This idea that I had to believe things that I felt were harmful to other people. Things like the concept of hell. In addition, now with this conversation, clearly the idea that gay people are somehow like less than the rest of the public because of their gayness or something, and deserve to go to hell if they indulge their sexuality. That's pretty, that part is, yeah, completely, I don't remember where I was going with that. But like I said, those two things, the empathy and evidence piece, were the most important to me. The empathy piece is still consistent, and you could see it from a lot of the other people. They kind of mentioned the similar things, like something about reading the Bible and like seeing the disturbing stuff in it, something about like meeting gay people and realizing that they're normal people. When you've been your whole life been hearing that these are people that hate God, and you know that someone who hates God is just going to be an awful person, right? Like this is what I believed growing up. But then you meet a gay person, you're like, they're normal. That's interesting. For me, I was like, you're still bad, because that's what everybody says. It's like, you're still bad. It's embarrassing too. I remember having a conversation with a friend as a child, maybe middle schooler or something like that, being like, my friend had like a gay experience or like something like that, like kissed someone or hooked up with someone or something like that. And I remember being like, you can't do that stuff. Like, it's wrong to be gay. Like, it's wrong to be gay. And then I remember, what was it, 5-10 years later, coming to that same friend being like, hey, sorry about that part. Turns out, same. So my bad, with that stuff. Yeah, that stuff was rough. It was rough having to deal with those things. But I'm glad to be far away from those types of opinions. I can be much more neutral towards myself, much more kind to myself these days. Oh, sorry, before I forget, the other part was evidence, right? So far in this conversation, we haven't gotten too deep into the evidence part of things. We did, I think it might have been in the other section of this live where the one pastor mentioned, he mentioned, I believe the Bible is true because of archaeological evidence, and I think he mentioned something else. And I know from where I'm sitting that evidence it's evidence, but it's not robust that proves that the Bible is 100% accurate or a true religion. So that was that. But so far we're still here. We're figuring this out. It's important to reflect on these concepts and ideas, regardless of how long you have been away from the faith. But yeah, thank you for being here and engaging with the ideas. Make sure you like and subscribe, do all of the fun stuff. Check out the Discord server and join in on TikTok, because we do lives over there far more often than we do over here. Just for tech reasons, it tends to be a little bit easier. So much appreciated. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully I can edit this video down and cut out the parts that got cut out of the other live and make something that's decent, hopefully. Thanks a lot. Have a good rest of your day.